most new relationships are a result of female disloyalty. And this is a very, very bitter, harsh, cold, and ugly truth that I have to bang into your heads, guys. Most new relationships that you have with women, especially these damaged females, Jezebels, you know what I'm talking about, are a result of her direct disloyalty, monkey branching, and hypergamous ways. Right? Many times that female is coming fresh out of a relationship. I hate to say it. She's coming fresh out of a relationship, basically bouncing from one guy to the next, monkey branching from one guy to the next, rebounding from one guy to the next. So that sweet little princess that you just got into a relationship with, if you ask her, like, hey, when did your last relationship end? And if she's honest and she tells you, like, oh, it ended last month. Oh, it ended, 2 weeks ago. There's your answer, right? There's your answer. Because from what I've found, most relationships, again, it's mostly with bad women and damaged women, are a result of her own disloyalty towards another man. That is why you're with her, right? And this is why we have that term in the community. She's not yours, it's just your turn, right? She's not yours, it's just your turn. She's community property. This is community property. It's funny because I uploaded a pic of me and my girl recently at dinner, and you can see like the number of comments, because my girl's pretty hot, and the commenters were like, remember him, it's not yours, just your turn. And I had to correct them first of all. I was like, yo, it's actually her turn. When you reach a level of mastery, it's not your turn, it's her turn. Remember that. Okay? Remember that. So, this is a bitter pill to swallow, guys, is that even if you look back on your own relationships, it might have been a girl you really liked too, right? That probably dumped you. 99% of the time, these girls will end up dumping you, by the way. You're not going to end up dumping her, right? Unless you're just a complete rotten piece of shit, because those are the type of guys that get these girls hot. Woo, get me all hot and heavy, right? Are guys who are like really abusive, right? That's why we call these girls the DG. They're the DG for a reason, fellas. So these are the type of guys that can actually hang on to these girls, because these guys themselves are damaged, right? They're just kind of damaged themselves, so like attracts like. Whereas when you're a good guy, she doesn't appreciate that. She just doesn't appreciate the fact that you're a good man with a good job, you do the right thing, or you try to do the right thing. You have morals, you have principles, you have values. A girl who's damaged can't appreciate that. She won't even see, she won't even value any of that. Matter of fact, a lot of times she'll even see that as a turnoff, as weakness. Feel me? So when I say this, that most relationships are the result of female hypergamy, or her monkey branching from another guy, just understand the pretext of where I'm coming from. And that pretext is the fact that 99% of the time, she's just not a good person to begin with, right? She's a bad woman. Because with the few good women that are out there, this will not be the case, right? Because I've said this before in previous coaching videos. You can trust me when I tell you, because I've dated over 350 young, beautiful women. I have no reason to lie to you. And I can be completely honest when I say that the few handful of good women that I've dated were not coming off of another relationship. They were not coming off of some rebound or some guy they were monkey branching from or anything like that. That was far from it. That was just not the case. In many of those situations, they were telling me that they hadn't been in a relationship for over 6 months, maybe even up to a year, and they just haven't found the right person. So there's a difference between a good woman and a bad woman, whereas a good woman is not going to go sleep around at a convenience until she finds the next guy, right? The next number one guy. Instead, a good woman is just not going to sleep around at all until she finds a guy that she could see as a potential boyfriend. Not a guy that she's going to bang, but like a boyfriend. So she's not coming off of, you know, like all these random dicks that she was banging, right? She's not coming off of any of that, or monkey branching from a relationship that ended 2 weeks ago or 2 days ago. Instead, she's coming from a boyfriend, and usually that relationship is a relationship that ended several months earlier, if not up to a year earlier, even a few years earlier, right? I actually dated one girl that hadn't had a relationship in like 3 years, right? Just because she hadn't found the right guy. And she wasn't gonna be sleeping around with random dicks until she found that guy. And that's something that commonly that, again, a lot of bad women, Jezebels, DG, do, is they sleep around with guys out of convenience until they find another one of those number one guys, right, that they could be with. But in the meantime, even if that type of girl finds that number one guy, she is still going to keep all those backups in her life, just waiting for that number one guy to screw up, to do something wrong, or to do something that pisses her off, right? She's going to take advantage of the fact that, like, oh, he messed up. Time to cheat on him, you know, and time to get back at him, time to seek vengeance and all this. I can't stand girls like that, by the way. Look at this car, it starts up like new. Speaking of girls who have not been around, right, and this is how I can often tell a girl has not been with a guy, another man, in a long time, is she tends to feel very different than a woman who has been with a lot of guys. So what do I mean by that? Let's put it very, very basically. Take my DeLorean, for example. So I bought this DeLorean, had 9,000 original miles on it, right? Touching upon 10,000 original miles. So when I drove this car, immediately once I drove it, I could tell right away that this car has barely been touched, right? When I drive it, it was very responsive. The shifting was very smooth. The steering was very tight, hence tight steering, responsive driving, right? Smooth shifting. Whereas when and I've driven DeLoreans with a lot more mileage in the past, right? Even up to 100, 200, 300,000 mile DeLoreans. And you could tell right away sitting in those cars that they've been through the mill. The steering is very loose, right? The steering's like super loose. The shifting is very clunky. The car is very like unresponsive. Like sometimes there's a delay in after you shift gears. It's like, yeah, I shifted like 5 seconds ago. It's only going into gear now, you know? So you could tell there's a difference between, driving a DeLorean with low mileage versus a DeLorean with high mileage, right? Same thing with these girls that have not ridden the carousel, right? There's a huge difference, not only in the way they feel in their bodies, right? Their bodies are obviously much tighter, much cleaner, right? Obviously less touched by other men, but also their mentality is different, right? That's probably the biggest thing, is their mentality is different. They're the type of girls where even if you get into a fight, they're not gonna just run off to the club. They're not gonna like pick up their cell phone and like dial one of those like 3 dozen men they have in their phone waiting to bang them. They're not going to run off with their bad girlfriends who are going to bring them out and try to help them act out on their hypergamy. They're not going to do any of that stuff. Instead, they're just going to keep their feet at home and just do their own thing, and then hope that you come around or hope that they can work it out with you. They're not going to do anything to further damage the relationship or to sabotage that relationship, whereas bad women would, okay? Bad women would. And that is why I'm saying that most relationships, because most modern women today are being trained to think that way, that they could be like guys, they could sleep around like guys, there's going to be no social repercussions whatsoever. Most modern women are trained so much to think that way that it's to the point that most of the relationships you guys are entering into with these quote-unquote modern women, which I tell you to stay away from, most of these relationships you're entering into with these quote-unquote modern women are a direct result of their own disloyalty towards another man, right? Their own monkey branching towards another man. Even if they say they weren't by some off chance they didn't cheat on the guy, they're still monkey branching, right? They're still rebounding from another guy that they just broke up with a week earlier, maybe days earlier, right? And if you're with somebody for, say you're dating somebody for a year, you cannot get over that person in 3 days. I'm sorry to tell you, you cannot, okay? If you've been dating somebody a year and assuming you cared about that person, it's gonna take you a bit longer than 3 days, okay? It's gonna usually take you at least a month, maybe a couple of months to really just suppress those memories that you have for that person so you can move on, okay? Because if you're able to move on within 3 days and, you know, one day be in the sack with him, like on a Monday, but by like Wednesday you're in the sack with another guy, you never really cared about him. All you cared about is yourself. And that is why I'm saying that most of these relationships that you're getting involved in today are a result of female disloyalty. Most relationships you see out there in the world, not even just your own, that you see out there, most of these younger relationships, mostly, okay? I mean, this doesn't really apply to older folks who've been married a long time. Your parents, my parents have been married 50 years, so this doesn't apply to them. But especially your grandparents, right? If they're still alive, it doesn't apply to them. I'm talking about most younger relationships, especially ones where the couples are in their 20s and 30s, right? This especially applies to people in their 20s and 30s. Most of your relationships are a result of female disloyalty, female monkey branching, female hypergamy, any way you want to put it, right? And as it says in Proverbs 31:10, virtuous women, when it talks about virtuous women don't do this stuff, guys. Virtuous women, they don't leave their partners at the drop of a hat. They don't have shiny object syndrome. Virtuous women are not community property, because virtuous women are actually looking for that one guy to settle down with and build something with, build a family with, build a relationship with, right? They're looking for that one guy. Whereas bad women are not, right? Most bad women are looking for as many options as they can get to protect themselves, right? To make sure they're never alone, right? And you'll notice that too. Most bad women can never be alone. They can't, even after breakups. They can't be alone for more than a few days, more than a week, right? It drives them nuts because it makes them feel like nobody wants them, nobody loves them, and they need that constant social validation from men. This is why I tell you guys, stay away from these type of girls, because even when they're in a relationship with a man, especially a good man, they can't value that, they can't appreciate that, and she's always going to be running off on you because she's damaged, right? How else can I put it, man? She's damaged. She's the DG. So she's never going to be able to function in that relationship. And for these women, it's especially true that every single one of their relationships is a result of their own disloyalty. So any damaged females watching, it's true, right? My ex from 2006, my ex from the year 2000, all of their relationships are a result of female disloyalty. Even when I met them, right? Even when I met them, I'm not removing myself from that. But even when I met them, they were coming off of a relationship where they were monkey branching from one guy to me. Right? So of course, as I teach you guys, how it starts is how it ends, right? How your relationship starts is how your relationship is going to end. Period. If it starts with her cheating, guess what? Your relationship is going to end with her cheating, but only this time it's going to be on you. She's going to be cheating on you. She might have cheated on the other guy to be with you, but once your relationship ends, she's going to be cheating on you to be with the next guy. How it starts is how it ends, and that's why most relationships with especially with modern women today, are a result of female disloyalty. And if you have any comments, leave them below. Always love to read them, always love to hear about them. Feel free to drop those below and share your experiences about tonight's topic. If you've had experiences that we talked about tonight, share them below. And with that said, I'm going to wrap up here. Until next time, this is M from the 33 Secrets, signing out here from my DeLorean. It's incredible, about to take off. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Go ahead and smash it right now. Also, hit that notification bell right next to it so that you are notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on the YouTube. More importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Helps me out a ton when you actually subscribe, okay? So make sure you're subscribed to my channel as well. And for all of you guys who want to support my work and all of this red pill, gold pill, and platinum pill content that I'm teaching you even further, the best way to do that is by jumping into my monthly online coaching program, 7 Months to Mastery, where I'm teaching guys just like you how to go out there and approach and close the youngest, hottest, and most beautiful looking women on the planet. I'm talking about 8s, 9s, and 10s, the same exact type of women that myself and all of my coaching students all around the world are out there approaching and closing every single week. And I kid you not, we're making things happen every single week. So take advantage of it, and this is the absolute best way to support my work. So if you want to support me, that's the best way to do it. And right now it's only $1 for the entire first month of coaching lessons, right? It's only $1. So take advantage of it. Okay? Just click that link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds. So do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video. All right, I'm out. Let's get out of here. Woo! Man, this car has some pickup. And this is coming from a guy with a Corvette. This car is actually pretty quick. Don't be fooled. DeLorean is quick. This is, after all, it's a time machine, right? Woo! Those kids are like, oh my gosh, it's a DeLorean. Till next time.